Alright, welcome back. This is now the setup for 8 December 1941. To start off, I just wanted to revisit Manila really quick. I went over the list of Asiatic Fleet submarines starting at Manila. There's 27 of them. So of that, we sank 4 and got heavy damage on 12 more. So that leaves 11 operational. So that's essentially a 60-40 split between sunk or heavy damage versus operational. So I would have been nice to get more. I would have liked to wipe the fleet out. So those 11 operational submarines are going to be a problem. But still, 16 submarines on the opening streak isn't bad. So over here at Pearl Harbor, I considered doing a second day of strikes. Looking here at the airfield damage only being 10, they're probably going to get a decent cap up. One possibility, too, is there are 2 American carriers in the area, and while he isn't going to engage me directly with those carriers, he very well could fly the Wildcats over and transfer them to Pearl Harbor and put up a little bit more resistance. On top of that, I don't believe on day 2 the Kates would be carrying torpedoes on a port strike, and basically none of the surprise rules are in effect, so the flak's going to be a lot worse. The vulnerability of the ships themselves is going to be lower. Basically, I don't think the juice is going to be worth the squeeze on the second day. This is, I mentioned before that pretty much one of the best results that we had this turn was minimal air losses, and a second day of strikes would turn that on its head. So I'm going to leave well enough alone. So the Kido Butai's headed towards Midway. I'm going to hit them again, not this turn, that'll be tomorrow. And that actually leads me to my next point, because down here in the Bismarck Sea and Solomon Sea areas, you can see we have like a whole bunch of invasion fleets leaving from Truk. They're going to start coming down here. Early objectives are going to be Kavieng, Rabaul, and the Shortlands. I'm a bit worried about potential American and Australian activity in this area, and looking at these fleets, they're underprotected. So I've had a light cruiser, the Katori sortie from the Marshalls. It's going to rendezvous with the task force headed for Rabaul. But I need more in this area, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to detach, not on this turn, but coming up, I'm going to detach Carrier Division 3, and they're going to make their way down here. And that's going to have more advantages than just being able to protect them. I'm working the counterintelligence game a little bit too. So I guess more on that later. So the KP is going to come here. We'll make a little bit of a show of hitting Midway. Then Carrier Division 1 will proceed to assist in the Wake operation, while Division 3 heads down to the Truk and Rabaul area. So the Wake operation is proceeding where we've got task forces that are going to meet up from up here at Chichijima and down here at Truk. Normally, I think people go after Guam first and then take Wake. I'm doing that in the reverse order. I want to work from the front back. So we're going to hit Wake first and then double back and get Guam. I really don't consider Guam a priority at all. I just want to make sure I hit Wake hard enough to actually get the job done. So yeah, we've got very different patrol areas for where these submarines are eventually going to end up. For now, these are just transferring to Truk for further assignment. Moving over to China, I think I mentioned before, not too much going on here. We have ejected this one unit out of here. Not a whole lot going on. So over here, we are starting to move fighters. So the Oscar 1As were already here last turn, so I've transferred the 1Bs over as well. We're going to see more of those transfers taking place. We have additional aviation support that's landing on these ships, and there's also more being railed through, so we're going to see these air bases grow. I did not get the intended airstrike on Georgetown. That's a little annoying. But we're going to continue to pound any air bases that still appear to be operational, while also keeping an eye out for Force C. We simply can't ignore him just because we haven't seen him. We have enough ashore already at Kotabaru and Kwanton to take these, so those are going to be in our hands after land attacks tomorrow, or today, I guess I should say. And same with Kuching. I expect we should be able to have this. Over here at Jolo, I have ordered this guy to turn back around. I just don't see any point in not taking Jolo. Unfortunately, we still have one ship here that's on fire. I'm kind of expecting this one to go down. I don't know why I'm not allowed to have this as an amphibious task force anymore. Maybe it just can't be an amphibious task force if your only amphibious capable ship is on fire. So it ended up reverting to escort, and then I switched it back to transport when I told it to go back to Jolo. Over here I'm also detaching basically a covering force. These guys are going to proceed to Jolo, and they're going to protect the amphibious forces from any further interference from the enemy cruisers, and just try to choke up this area in general. Meanwhile, the light carriers are going to take up station down here, and hopefully, if the Houston hasn't been too badly damaged, it won't get very far. So it's going to have to, only make a few hexes of progress, and maybe we get an airstrike on it again. Maybe we don't. So we just have pretty standard amphibious operations proceeding out of here. Units headed for everywhere from like Manado, all down the coast of Papua New Guinea. Not too much to talk about there. So I think that's going to do it. I should have my opponent complete his turn tonight, so hopefully we'll be able to get you the combat replay pretty soon. So I'll resume this video when we have that replay available. Thank you. Alright, welcome back. The combat replay for the December 8th turn is now underway. I'd say the thing I'm most nervous about is going to be over here in Malaya. Dreading the appearance of the enemy torpedo bombers. So all this is an amphibious landing proceeding. Same one that started yesterday. Same story here at Kwanton. Well, there's those shore batteries I was worried about. Managed to get a pretty nasty hit on the Johor Maru, starting heavy fires. No troop casualties being reported, so that ship may have already served its purpose and is probably just landing supply at this point. Now that's interesting. It seems that the enemy destroyers that came out of Hong Kong are intimidating some of my task forces. That explosion we heard a little while ago was enemy ships hitting mines, presumably at Bataan. Now we have enemy destroyers trying to chase my mine layer off. Well, it's a little disappointing. It means he knows what I was up to. And of course, the destroyers apparently have my mine layer outgunned here, so they're going to be able to sink it. Excellent. nice if I could get some return fire. There we go. I'm not sure what the armament on these so-called cruiser mine leaders is, but the Clemson destroyers only have 4-inch guns, so they shouldn't be all that intimidating. So, my cruiser mine layer is not in very good condition anymore. Probably going to lose it. Meanwhile, these destroyers are probably going to get away, although we'll have a chance to get them if they come past my light carriers. Alright, let's see what we have here. Alright, so the Thracian is one of the British destroyers from Hong Kong. And they're running into 4 torpedo boats. So this is probably an ASW group. I think there's I think this group of 4 torpedo boats I chose because they have the deep reaching depth charges. So these guys are basically on the way to make sure none of the surviving American submarines messes with my amphibious invasion. So I'm hoping this is a fairly even fight. I'm not sure how good the armament is on these British destroyers. It looks like they got the first hit in. It was a significant one. Overall, Japanese tend to be the much better night fighters early in the war. You can also note that the destroyer that was hit yesterday is not here. Was it the Scout, I think, maybe? So I don't know that it sank. It may just have turned around and gone back to Hong Kong for repairs. Getting pretty disappointed that we don't have any hits on these guys. Just sending plenty of return fire their way. Damn. I kind of have to wonder if this is something that my opponent intended here, or if this is something of an accident for him. I would have expected him to try to preserve these destroyers rather than sacrifice them. These guys are surely not... I mean, they might win this fight, but they're not going to survive around here for very long. Come on, there's 4 of you. Get some hits. Of course. Yeah, absolutely no hits on them. That's unfortunate. Heavy damage from 3 hits. Heavy fires and heavy damage, so that's unfortunately probably going to take that ship out. At least Takao isn't too far away, so it's got a chance. Alright, so now we have an actual surface combat task force. Oh, but it doesn't want to engage because this is the task force that's low on ammo, thanks to those motor torpedo boats the other day. Now, let's see if they both evade each other again. Yes, they do. Yeah, it just seems like everybody's trying to avoid each other at this point. Well, that's interesting. It looks like the enemy ships have formed a line. Curious who those are, other than these two destroyers we keep seeing. I guess some of them are going to be those motor torpedo boats. Excuse me. Hear a ship sinking, but we don't know what it is. So, it would appear that a Dutch submarine has penetrated Patani, gets 3 hits to kill one of our aviation tenders, and there's no ASW response. I don't know why that is. So over here I just ordered one more bombardment before these ships leave. Won't be as effective as the first one since they don't have as much ammunition on board. Just figured why not. I don't see any report of aircraft damage. And there goes our cruiser mine layer. Jolo offensive is proceeding, as is an invasion of Catawba. These troops are going to be bound for Cagayan as soon as possible. Plenty of Allied casualties on the beach from that bombardment. Interesting that we got 2 task forces to unload. That might suggest that the one that reverted to a transport was able to unload anyways. And of course that cargo ship had to be carrying fuel, so now it's seriously on fire. Invasion over at Macken Island. So, invasion's proceeding at Catawba. Unloading at Jolo and Kwanton. And Kuching. This time we do not get hit by those shore batteries. Oh, what have we here? Oh, why is one of these guys burning? The Thanet and Thracian were the 2 destroyers that we kept running into, right? Yeah, that's kind of interesting. You know, these guys are supposed to have a covering force. I'd really like to see the covering force engage. Thank you. Much better. Let's get rid of these guys. So I guess maybe this guy's just damaged from running at full speed all day? Hopefully we can change that and get into something to really be damaged over. Task forces break off. Are you kidding me? Come on. Kill these guys. And we've located Force Z. They've decided they are going to probably sacrifice themselves to take out my invasion of Kuching. It's going to be too late for them. These ships have pretty much all unloaded at this point. I'm not going to really have a chance to do any major damage to this task force with this task force. But these guys should be completely vulnerable to my Bettys and Nells flying out of Southeast Asia. It's not like we don't know they're here now. So, I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward this. I think we know how this is going to end. Pretty much with my task force getting wiped out. Yeah, looks like we got some hits on the Dragon. That's nice. Yeah, even the Prince of Wales is in there. Let's look at the bad news. So, got hits on 4 of their ships, but probably not significant. Looks like every one of our ships is sunk, and we do not have any reported troop casualties, so they're all fully disembarked. So yeah, definitely not a good thing to lose this many ships early, especially when a cruiser is included in that. However, I do expect this to end up being a sacrifice, because I don't see how these guys are going to survive my airstrikes. Alright, now we have enemy motor torpedo boats attacking my invasion forces, but they think better of it. Everybody wants to evade combat. At least we know what happened to the scout. It's still alive. And sadly, our ships don't want to finish him off. I wonder what that was. Val's getting transmissions out in the middle of the ocean. Alright, let's get those airstrikes out. So we're starting off with a sweep of Clark. Let's see if these P-40s are any match for my Zeros. So far, so good. 2 P-40s down. Make it 3. Yeah, these P-26s, like, they don't even belong in this fight. Having them here is just a waste. Dominating these guys. We're getting dive attacks and attacks from behind. I don't think we've even had a plane damaged yet. Well, at least the enemy's taking a few shots at us. They can't hit us, but at least they're shooting. Oh! And just when I say it, they get one. Jinxed us. Yeah, downside of having these shoot-downs happen on sweep missions is we're probably losing that pilot. Meanwhile, the enemy planes their pilots bail out over their own base, and they're very likely to keep their pilots. So that's 0. I wouldn't say we're dominating anymore. We're definitely outperforming them. But I think what we're seeing here is that the numbers have evened up quite a bit. Early in the fight, the enemy cap was still responding, so we had a numbers advantage. And now it's much closer to being even. There's still additional enemy fighters responding and getting up in the air. Hopefully all these planes that we're damaging that are escaping are going to get picked off by our bombers later on. Alright, so by my count we lost 5 zeros, and with that we took out 8 P-40s and 5 P-26s. This, of course, is going to vary from the official combat reports because, for some reason, Fog of War applies to these. Yeah, so 8 P-40s actually shot down, and it's just reporting 4, so pretty inaccurate. Alright, let's see if we can get some of these destroyers, and no. 6 Bettys takes a run at him and misses. Alright, now we've got a few more zeros coming to Clark, but they're going to be outnumbered. Zeros. Get out of here without getting shot down, please. Let's not lose more pilots today. Damn. Alright, well, we only lost 1, but we got 4 more enemy aircraft, so I guess I'll take it. Alright, now we have the bombing raid. Fortunately, the enemy cap's been worn down quite a bit. Didn't provide all that much of an escort. Oh yeah. So that worked out real well. Yeah, 3 P-40s shot down trying to defend their base. They never reached the bombers. And now the bombers are hopefully picking off all those fighters that ended up having to run back to base to get repaired. Liking these reports of damaged and destroyed aircraft. All those little fires on the ground probably mean significant damage is being done or supplies are running low. Well, it's only officially 3 aircraft destroyed on the ground. Got 60 plus base hits, so that should be pretty significant damage. Hopefully that's going to be accumulating, causing them additional operational losses. Sweep of Manila, no joy. Follow-up raid on Manila, and this is working out really well. The sweep and the prior strike have wiped out all enemy fighter presence, So these bombers, even though they're unescorted, are still getting in and doing plenty of damage. Yep, officially 2 more aircraft destroyed on the ground. Hopefully the actual numbers are much better than this. So this strike on Kota Baru targeted the enemy ground forces instead of the airbase. I mentioned before that airbase is pretty much mine at this point, so no need to damage it further. And this just is going to hopefully help make sure our troops prevail later in the turn. Same. And a little bit more of the same over here at Clark. So hopefully Clark's going to be damaged badly enough that we can get back to port strikes to maybe finish off some of those damaged subs. So over here at Canton and Hong Kong, now less interested in the port, which is probably mostly vacated, and instead I'm attacking this land unit that's kind of out in the open, possibly threatening Canton. I guess you could call this a nuisance raid, just basically hitting enemy troops out in the open in China. Oh, so here's the raid on Georgetown that was supposed to happen yesterday. At least we got it eventually, right? And we're getting planes. Which I guess is what really matters. I was kind of thinking that this is going to be too late. We'd just be hitting an empty airbase. But I'm seeing plenty of reports of damaged aircraft here, so hey, go us. Just go ahead and fast forward this. Yeah, so at least 2 aircraft destroyed. 80 base hits. Yeah, that base is going to be devastated. Getting our star again. Looks like this base might be empty. We're not seeing any reports of damaged aircraft anymore. Yeah, we're probably going to be able to turn off that attack. This is accomplishing nothing. There's no one here. Another 2 bomber raid. Apparently they really like sending these bombers out 2 at a time. And once again, they're finding nates on patrol, which they run away from. Oh, okay, with 3 bombers instead of 2 this time. Oh, these guys might actually get through. Yep. Did they even drop any bombs? So that was a port attack on Canton? I didn't even realize Canton had a port. Alright. So this looks like it's an attack that's coming from Carrier Division 2. So these valves will finish the scout off. Good riddance. Now get the other 2. God, those 2 destroyers are a pain in my side. And we just lost another cargo ship from the ill-fated Jolo operation. So it doesn't look like we ever managed to get an aerial fix on Force Z. So, wow, I mean, it looks like the Allies may have gotten away with it. Nice, come on, get him. Ah. Alright, so at least we get another P-40 while trying to attack these ships. Maybe I need to assign these Bettys in larger numbers to the naval attack mission. Then again, we do have 2 aircraft carriers around, so maybe those guys could do a little bit more than picking off the wounded guy. Wow. Yeah, not a whole lot of activity going after. Whew. Yeah, so that's really disappointing. We're really failing to engage those enemy destroyers with most of the forces we have available. The submarine, I don't know if this is the same one that attacked earlier. But we're not getting much anti-submarine resistance against these guys, even though they're in shallow water. And then, of course, Force Z wipes out a task force and disappears on us. So this turn so far seems to be going pretty in favor of the Allies. Yeah, and here we go again. Another submarine that we failed to prosecute. Ah. And then one of the torpedo boats that ran into the British destroyers is now sunk. Alright, so we've got a little amphibious invasion going on at Ocean Island. It's kind of small potatoes here. Alright, let's see if we get these bases on our first try. Alright, so Kwanton holds for now. We do reduce their forts 1 level. Allied casualties are way higher than ours. Okay. Yeah, it may just take a little bit more work, but it's looking good so far. Kodabaru, so we did have the airstrikes helping us out here. And we get it, yeah. The airstrikes seem to help. Pretty sure the AV numbers are about the same. Now this I like to see. 4 wildebeests taken out. Hopefully quite a bit more than that. Plenty of Allied casualties too, so that's good news. So we should bring Kotabaru to life as an airbase of our own as soon as possible. Shock attack at Kuching, and it is captured. So we paid for it. We got it. Cost us a cruiser. Hopefully it ends up costing the Allies a lot more than that. So, automatic shock attack, since this is a very small island being attacked. An atoll. Paratrooper attack on Bataan Island. Paratrooper attack on Napari. I will probably turn this into an airbase too. And of course, Mackinac. Alright, so it looks like we're going to finish off there. Yeah, so good turn for the Allies. Good use of Force Z to wipe out one of my task forces and basically get away with it. I really thought that having Force Z have to come around and go around that corner to take Kwanton would leave them exposed, and that they'd get detected and would draw an airstrike. Oh no, I just plain miscalculated. This is too far. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, so my planning wasn't all that good there. That's my fault. So, yeah, good on you, Allies. You got me beat there. Got this whole area flooded with submarines, though, so hopefully if he tries that again, it's not going to work out too well for him. So over here in the Philippines, operations seem to be going well in the south. Did we... Oh, the other ship sank anyways. So the ship that sank was carrying, I think, the 16th Naval Guard Division, so we got part of them ashore, and then part of them are arriving late in this other task force. So we didn't lose the whole unit. That's a good thing. Speaking of which, let's actually go ahead and look at the intelligence reports. So that's to be withdrawn. I wanted destroyed. So yeah, we have no destroyed ground units. So that's good. Let's check aircraft losses really quick. So most of these losses, the Peats, that was from the float plane tender being sunk by the Dutch submarine off the coast of Malaya. So we did end up losing 9 zeros total. It's saying 6 in air-to-air combat, which is consistent with what I have. So that's all over Clark Air Base. But with those 6 aircraft lost, how many did we get? Yeah, so 14 P-40s shot down in the air, another 4 operational losses, plus another 10 P-26s shot down. So that went pretty much in our favor. Let's see how we did on ground casualties. So we got 4 more P-40Bs on the ground, plus some other aircraft I don't care nearly as much about. So we can do a little bit better on the ground. Let's go ahead and see if we can find our pilot casualties. So top pilots. Okay, so we lost 10 pilots today, which, you know, that's not great. Well, 10 pilots and 4 missing. So that's the danger of doing sweeps. You know, you tend not to get those pilots back when they get shot down. But we need to bring Clark and Manila to heel eventually. So let's see what's going on here. We have 32% airfield damage, so we're definitely making progress on Clark. Still plenty of ships in port here in Manila. Not many planes. Not many planes at all. So yeah, I think that's all. Let's take a quick look at the ships sunk. Let's check the Allied ships first, and let's just look at last turn. Wow, so we're getting lots of credit for submarines that went down, so that's looking good. John D. Ford, I'm not sure who this is, but saying lost near Bataan. So maybe this is a destroyer that was damaged in the Manila port strike and then sank while it tried to get away. We're also pretty sure that there's another ship that needs to be added to this list because we heard someone hit a mine. So, yeah, somebody blew up at Bataan. Speaking of mines, it looks like we did not get our minefield deployed here as we intended. So that's unfortunate. So that's going to open up a gap we didn't intend. So that didn't work out. But going back to casualties, of course our casualties were pretty bad. Yeah, definitely a bad day for the Japanese Navy, losing a light cruiser, seaplane tender, and then some fairly valuable transport ships while we're at it. Yeah, like this very valuable transport ship for that. And then as far as cargo ships go, these were pretty good ones. So this is one of them that went down as from the Jolo operation. Capable of 14 knots, victory value 13 points. That's a bad loss. So a whole bunch of 13-point ships and some smaller ones. So that did not go our way by a long shot. So going forward, I'm going to have to clean up what's going on down here and be more cognizant that Force C can get through over here. Would be nice if we detected them and if we knew where it was. So Palembang's a possibility. Could be in Batavia. So we're going to have to find him. And then up here, obviously, we've got enemy task forces, which are just causing us a problem. So these are probably those motor torpedo boats. 7 ships sighted here. I don't know who those are going to be. But yeah, we need to lock this area down. So that's going to be our priority for the next turn. So I'm going to wrap it up there, and I will look forward to showing you the next turn when it's set up.